The moonlight drapes itself across the courtyard like a silken veil, each beam pausing on the weathered stones before drifting away into the hush of night. You step forward, bare feet, brushing cool moss, and with each inhale, you feel the gentle pulse of the world slowing to match your own heartbeat. Here, in this place of silence, nothing demands your attention. There is only breath, only presence, only the unfolding of now. You follow a narrow path toward a simple wooden hall, its sliding door left ajar as an invitation rather than an entrance. Inside, a single lantern glows with the warmth of a firefly's memory, illuminating the grain of the floorboards and the soft curve of a raked sand garden beyond. You sit on a straw mat, knees folding like petals, and tilt your head to watch a single leaf drift across the sand surface, each swirl a graceful testament to the breath of the unseen wind. Impermanence reveals itself here. The Buddha once taught that all things arise and fade like the lotus that opens to the dawn only to close when dusk arrives. You recall the story of an old monk who carried a skull from door to door seeking someone unafraid. Each time he knocked, curious villagers would peek and flee at the sight, but one child stayed. The monk smiled and set the skull before him, asking, "What do you see?" The child whispered, "I see only what was once alive." In that moment, the monk bowed, for the child perceived the tender fragility of life without fear. What remains when everything slips through your fingers, moment by moment? You close your eyes and let the teaching sink into your bones. Your thoughts, once solid, dissolve into the rhythm of your own breathing, rising, falling like the tide meeting the shore. There is no separation between observer and observed. You are both the drifting leaf and the still pond. You are both the gust of wind and the sturdiness of the temple gate. This is the essence of no self, the illusion of a separate you, melting into the boundless web of existence. A gentle invitation stirs within you. Notice the space between each breath. In that silence, what whispers of truth arise? Does the mind cling to what it believes is you? Or can it rest, ungrasping, in the ease of simply being? Outside, the cicada's soft chorus swells and fades, reminding you that sound like thought appears and vanishes. You remember another Zen tale of a master who held up a flower before his disciples, speaking not a single word. One student smiled, realizing that words could not capture the beauty of that bloom. Another scoffed. The master nodded to the smiling child and said, "This too is the Dharma." In the ineffable gesture of a petal's curve lay the whole universe. What teaching do you find in the silence deeper than any sentence? Your spine straightens as you sit. The lantern's glow flickers, echoing the impermanent light within you. You breathe in the scent of pine and incense, noticing how the aroma passes through you, neither clinging nor rejecting. You are a conduit for life's ebb and flow, neither fixed nor lost, just present. Thoughts tap on the door of awareness, whispering concerns you once believed pressing. You let them pass, without opening, like clouds drifting across a moonlit sky. Then softly, you rise and step toward the garden. The sand is cool beneath your fingertips as you rake a single continuous line into the pattern. Each stroke both erases and creates, teaching you that every ending births a beginning. You pause mid-rake, watching how the curve meets the straight, how the empty space becomes shape. What pattern emerges in the mind when nothing is forced? Under the veil of night, you begin to feel the rhythm slow even more. The world softens its edges, and in that mellow quiet, you sense the gentle interconnection of all things, the lantern flame, and your own inner spark, the drifting leaf, and the solidity of the stone. You are the slow unfolding of the lotus opening without hurry. The mind once tangled now breathes with the universe's pulse. As you return to your seat, you bring this realization gently to your awareness that peace is not found by adding something to yourself, but by releasing all that you are not. You settle back onto the mat, folding into the body's cradle, and with one final breath you rest. What would it mean, you wonder, to let go of every label, every story, every fear, and simply be the soft glow of awareness beneath the moon's calm gaze? The hush deepens around you as you settle back into stillness. The lanterns glow, softening to a steadfast pulse. With each inhalation, you draw in the vastness of night, its velvet expanse stretching beyond the confines of walls and ceilings. With each exhalation, you release the fragments of thought that have clung to your mind throughout the day, the worries of tomorrow, the regrets of yesterday, the endless chatter that once felt so urgent. Here, only the present breath matters. You let your awareness float to the garden's edge, where pale moonlight sketches the silhouette of bamboo stalks. The slender trunks sway in an unseen breeze, their movement painting latticework shadows on the sand. This is the embodiment of interdependent origination. Each bamboo depends on the earth, the rain, the wind. The wind itself depends on the sun's warmth and the mountain's contours. Nothing stands apart. You sense your own life woven into this tapestry. Your thoughts, your heartbeat, your breath, each a thread in the great cosmic loom. A core teaching hums beneath your awareness. Emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. You recall the Zen master who offered his follower a bowl of tea. As the cup neared fullness, the student begged him to stop pouring. Yet the master continued, and tea spilled over the edge. Your mind is like this bowl, he said. Until it is empty, you cannot receive the taste of the Dharma. In that moment, the student understood that only in letting go, the relinquishing of assumptions, judgments, and self-importance, could true insight settle like calm waters. Closing your eyes, you imagine pouring out every expectation you hold. With gentle effort, you tilt the cup of awareness, letting preconceptions spill onto the mat and vanish into the night. What remains is pure receptivity, a mind open like the space between the bamboo stalks, vast and unmeasured. In this openness, the universe can pour itself in. A soft thought drifts to you. Who are you beyond all these labels? Parent, friend worker, thinker. You release even this question, recognizing that any grasping leads back into the circle of self. Instead, you rest in the serene awareness that simply witnesses. You are the awareness itself, unobstructed by the contents it perceives. Moments pass like ripples on a still pond. The cicada's song dims, replaced by the distant call of an owl. each sound a note in the symphony of existence. The lantern beside you flickers, and for a breath, you feel the world itself breathing with you. There is no boundary between inner and outer, no gap between observer and observed. This is the heart of Zen. The world unfolds, and you unfold with it. Your attention returns to the breath. You notice the gentle rise of the belly, the expansion of the ribs, the soft corridor of air through the nostrils. In this simple act, you find a mirror of the cosmos, unceasing, unaltered by opinion, entirely sufficient. With each breath, you affirm your belonging in the great unfolding of life. A Zen anecdote drifts to your mind. Long ago, a young student chased the sound of his master's wooden fish, a percussion instrument used in chanting, through corridors and courtyards, desperate for instruction. The master waited by a single unlit lantern. When the student arrived, breathless, the master extended a single lotus blossom. "This is your teaching," he said. The student frowned, expecting sermons or sutras, but in that silent offering, he recognized that the essence of practice lies in simple gestures, in momentary awareness. He bowed deeply, understanding that every gesture, every breath, every flicker of light contains the whole path. You lift your hand and imagine offering the lotus's grace to your own heart, a quiet ceremony of acknowledgement. No words are needed. The opening of your palm, the gentle gaze inward suffices. In that gesture, you honor life as it is without artifice. Slowly, the edges of awareness soften once more. The breath carries a whisper of silk, cool, comforting, but not cold. You feel warmth in every corner of your being, a gentle reminder that peace need not be sought. It only needs to be recognized. Like a hidden spring beneath the sand, it is always present. You lean back body, becoming one with the cushions of earth and wood. Your mind drifts like a leaf on a calm stream, unyoked, unhurried, free. Thoughts may arise, but they pass like clouds dissolving against the infinite sky of awareness. In this vast embrace you rest. What remains, you wonder when every pursuit is released. Only the beat of the heart, only the arc of the breath, only the soft unfolding of awareness beneath the moon's watchful light. In that simple revelation, nothing more is needed. A gentle hush settles as you shift your focus to the distant mountain silhouette just beyond the courtyard walls, its presence steady and unmoving beneath the moon's glow. You imagine the mountain's ancient stillness, how it has borne wind and rain, sun and storm, existing without complaint through countless seasons. In this steadiness lies a teaching. The heart, like the mountain, remains unshaken when you root it in awareness rather than in fleeting emotions. You recall the story of a disciple who watched his master tend a bonsai tree for decades, pruning wiring, nurturing each branch with meticulous care. When the tree finally bloomed in miniature splendor, the disciple asked Master, "After all this time, how do you feel?" The Master smiled and replied, "I am neither elated nor disappointed. I simply witness its unfolding." From that moment, the disciple understood that true compassion arises not from attachment to outcomes, but from the gentle tending of life's present moments. You close your eyes and feel your own heart's landscape, its narrow valleys of longing, its peaks of fleeting joy. With each breath, You sense the possibility of tending these places with the same patient care. What if you viewed each thought as a fragile branch worthy of your kind attention, but free to bend and let go when the time comes? A soft breeze drifts through the open door, carrying the scent of jasmine and the faint echo of temple bells. You listen entranced as each toll marks the passing of a moment neither grasped nor lost. The bells teach you about mindful presence. Each sound arises, fills the space, then dissolves into silence. In that silence, the next moment is born. In this awareness, you gently ask, where does the sound end and the silence begin? You sit in that question without seeking an answer. For in Zen, the very act of inquiry can become a door to deeper stillness. A core teaching floats into your mind. Non-attachment is not about indifference, but about embracing each experience without clinging. You remember the tale of a gardener who invited travelers in for tea. Each guest brought a single flower, and as they shared tea, the flowers were placed in a vase. When petals began to wither, the gardener simply removed them, making space for new blossoms. He said, "Life's beauty is not diminished by loss. It is renewed in each fresh bloom." What blossoms are you holding in your heart tonight? And what petal can you tenderly release? You breathe in again, allowing those words to settle like dew. As the night deepens, your body finds an even softer ease on the straw mat. Every muscle releases its hold, and each exhale carries away the last traces of tension. You are cradled by the earth's quiet support. Then in the distance, you glimpse the flicker of dragonfly wings reflecting lantern light. For a heartbeat, you imagine the insect's brief life condensed into a single shine. In that flash lies the brilliance of living fully in each moment. A Zen master once said, "Be like the dragonfly. Live your life as if every instant is a jewel." What jewel will you cherish in the stillness of this hour? You smile inwardly, feeling the tender pulse of connectedness between your breath and the dragonfly's wing beat between your heartbeat and the bell's toll. You rest in the knowledge that each moment, however small, contains its own universe. Softly, you let your awareness widen again, embracing the bamboo, the sand, the lantern, and the quiet echo of your own presence. In this vastness, thoughts may drift through, but they leave no residue. You watch them as you would watch ripples on a pond, knowing they arise and fall back into the transparent depths. With one last, gentle inhale, you return fully to the now, the gentle life of the mountain, the endless bloom of awareness, the sacred hush that cradles you. Here, nothing asks more of you than to simply be. What beauty arises when you rest in this open kindness toward yourself? A soft mist gathers at the edge of the courtyard, brushing your ankles with its coolness, like a whispered invitation. You rise once more, stepping toward the low stone basin, where water pools in quiet reflection. The surface is unbroken, save for the faint ripple when a droplet falls from the bamboo ladle above. You lift the ladle, watching silver arc into the stillness, and hear the single note of water, meeting water simple, complete. This is the teaching of mindfulness the whole universe contained in a single act. The Buddha taught that every moment fully attended reveals the depth of being. You bring the ladle to your lips, sipping the water as you would sip a rare tea, slowly, reverently, and allow its cool clarity to wash away the last tremor of thought. In doing so, you taste the living essence of now. You settle back onto the mat by the basin legs, crossed, palms resting lightly in your lap. The lantern's glow catches on the mist, creating a halo of soft luminescence around you. You feel suspended between earth and sky, between dream and wakefulness, yet entirely grounded in this leaning breath. An ancient Zen story comes to mind. A monk asked his teacher, "What is the essence of Zen?" The teacher lifted a single blade of grass, letting dew drops glisten in its curve. "This," he said. And the monk bowed, understanding that the ordinary holds the extraordinary when perceived with openness. What ordinary detail draws your attention now? And how does it reveal the miracle of being? Your gaze drifts to a small cluster of pebbles anchored at the basin's edge. Each stone is unique, rounded by water, colored by time. You imagine the journey each pebble has made mountain streams, tumbling them winds, polishing their edges, centuries folding around their silent presence. In this, you find the teaching of patience, that all transformation happens at its own pace beyond your will or hurry. You close your eyes again, breathing in the cool night air that mingles with the scent of moss and jasmine. With each exhale, you release the need to hurry through life's currents. Here, time hesitates, and you linger in the gentle passing of breath. What if every breath were a lifelong practice, a ceremony of presence? You open your palm and let your fingers brush the mist as it settles back into air. The droplets cling, then slide away, leaving nothing behind. What emotions drift in like mist around your heart? You acknowledge them, the faint reluctance to let go, the gentle gratitude for this calm, the whisper of curiosity guiding you forward. Each feeling arises, is recognized, then allowed to return to the vastness. Behind you, the night deepens to velvety black. Stars peek through the spaces between bamboo leaves, tiny lanterns in the sky. You imagine stepping beyond the courtyard gates into a boundless garden where every blade of grass is aglow. But you remain here content to sit in this sacred nook where the world both holds you and dissolves around you. The teaching of no distance arises. There is no gap between what you perceive and what you are. You are the touch of water, the scent of blossom, the faint echo of the owl's call. You are the universe inhaling and exhaling through your lungs. In this union, you find perfect rest. A final gentle reflection comes to you in Zen practice, and realization are not separate. Each mindful step, each soft breath is both the journey and the destination. With this understanding, you let your posture soften, allowing your body to become a vessel for the night's gentle lullaby. You close your eyes, feeling the earth's steady support beneath you, and surrender into the vast, unspoken awareness that permeates all. Here, in the gentle hush of moon and mist, you rest unhurried, unbound, complete. And as the lantern's flame grows faint, you drift into the tender embrace of sleep, carried by the silent symphony of being. A single cricket's call rises from the reeds beyond the courtyard, steady and clear, a heartbeat echoing through the tranquil air. You lie fully upon the mat. Now limbs relax the curve of the earth, cradling you like a mother's embrace. The lantern has dimmed to a warm ember, and the gentle shimmer of stars presses softly upon your closed eyelids. In this twilight of consciousness, you recall the teaching of the middle way, neither clinging to wakefulness nor chasing the abyss of sleep. You rest exactly between the two, suspended in effortless balance. A Zen disciple once described this as dwelling in the harmony of tension and release, finding ease where opposites meet. What if you too could settle into this perfect midpoint, allowing the edges of your awareness to dissolve into a seamless whole? Your breath slows further, each cycle stretching like the petals of a night-blooming lotus, unfurling in slow motion. With each inhale, you draw in the calm strength of the mountain. With each exhale, you send forth the gentle ripples of kindness into the vast pond of existence. There is no boundary here, for kindness rises and falls as naturally as your breath, touching all corners of being. A soft thought drifts. Where do you end, and where does the night begin? You let the question hover without chasing its answer, allowing the mind's surface to settle into stillness. In that quiet knowing, you sense the limitless field of awareness stretching beyond thoughts, beyond form, beyond time. You feel a subtle warmth gathering in the center of your chest, the glow of compassion that arises when the heart rests in simple presence. This is the Buddha's heart, boundless, open, primordial. You cradle that glow, gently, neither clinging nor pushing away, just tending it with the tenderness you would offer a fragile blossom. Outside, the cricket's song fades into the hush of the unseen, and in its place, a stillness so profound it seems to pulse with life. You drift upon that silence, carried by its vastness, like a small boat floating on a boundless sea. There is nowhere to go, nothing to seek, only the gentle unfolding of the infinite now. As sleep's embrace draws near, you rest in the perfect simplicity of being an uncarved block, whole and complete. In this final moment before surrender, you breathe in the wholeness of the world and breathe out all separation. And in that union, you find yourself home. A whisper of wind stirs the grasses beyond the gate, carrying the faint scent of cedar and rain yet to fall. In this threshold between wakefulness and dream, you feel the land breathing beneath you, its ancient pulse in harmony with your own. You imagine roots extending from your spine into the rich earth below, anchoring you in timeless stability even as your mind floats free. A core teaching surfaces true freedom arises when the mind rests without grasping. You recall the wandering monk who, carrying nothing but a simple bowl, wandered from village to village. One night he lay beneath a pine tree, and a stranger whispered, "How can you be content with so little?" The monk answered, "Only when I possess nothing can I hold everything." You sense the truth of this teaching deep within. In releasing all you think you need, you awaken to the boundless abundance that surrounds you now. Your breath deepens, each exhale softening your awareness into the tender cradle of night. You notice how the boundary between body and air dissolves your skin, becoming the temple's walls, your breath, the lantern's flame. In this seamless merging, you understand non-duality, not as an idea, but as a living moment. An unspoken invitation arises rest in the heart of this unity. Let thought's final embers fade and allow the silent flame of awareness to glow without effort. The world in its vastness and you in your simplicity are not separate. You are the melody and the silence, the dancer and the stillness. As your breathing slows to the gentle sway of a distant forest, you glimpse the edge of sleep's veil. You do not resist its pull. Instead, you yield, trusting that in surrender you find the clearest form of presence. In the soft merging of awareness and dream, you step beyond the confines of self and world into a realm where all teachings dissolve into the pure expanse of being. And there, in that final spark, before the dream, you rest. The hush of night deepens as you drift beyond the veil of conscious thought feeling. Each breath becomes a soft echo in the vast chamber of awareness. You lie cradled by the earth, your body and the ground beneath, merging into a single presence. In this convergence, you sense the timeless flow of life, the river of moments that carries you ever onward, neither resisting nor grasping. A teaching arises like a gentle ripple. The path is the goal. You remember the story of the master, who, when asked how to attain enlightenment, simply rose, paced the garden path, and traced a single footprint in the dew-laden grass. This is the way, he said, step by step, nothing more. You feel the truth of those simple words in your marrow, realizing that each breath you take, each heartbeat you feel, is both practice and arrival. Your awareness drifts to the still pond beyond the hall, where water lilies float like dreams upon its surface. You picture the lotus's journey rooted deep in murk, rising through shadow, blossoming into light. It teaches you that from the depths of darkness emerges the brilliance of being. What hidden seed within you yearns now to unfurl toward the sky? Softly, you invite your mind to rest in that question without expectation, allowing the space around it to expand. In that open space, thoughts come and go, like autumn leaves drifting across the water, each leaf acknowledged, each released. You remain the silent pond, receptive and serene. In the distance, the temple bell tolls once more, its reverberation filling the night with a single resonant note. You feel it vibrate through your chest, aligning your own rhythm with the cosmos. This is the teaching of harmony. Every sound you hear, every silence you inhabit, is part of the same great song. How does your heartbeat guide you now? As the bell's echo fades, you sense sleep's soft embrace drawing closer still. You lay surrendering to this gentle pull, allowing the last threads of effort to dissolve. No striving remains, only the simple existence of breath and awareness. And in this final moment of wakeful stillness, you merge fully with the night's quiet heart, carrying its calm into the realm of dreams. A soft warmth kindles at the base of your spine, as if the earth itself offers gentle support, guiding you to rest ever more fully into this moment. You sense the lantern's ember glow, still lingering at the edge of your vision, a reminder that even the faintest light can dispel deep shadows. Here, you recognize the teaching of the bright flame within, that the quiet core of awareness shines steadily regardless of outer circumstance. You recall the tale of a monk who during a fierce storm remained seated beneath a fragile pavilion. As rain pounded and winds howled, disciples scrambled for shelter, yet the master simply opened his palms to the sky, offering himself to whatever came. In the morning, when silence returned, the pavilion lay shattered, but the monk sat unharmed, eyes alight with calm. From him, you learn that true shelter is not found in walls or routines, but in the unshakable refuge of awareness itself. You let this insight settle as you shift your weight, molding your spine into the natural curve that aligns body and breath. Each inhale draws cool air into your belly. Each exhale releases tension from your shoulders, your jaw, the tiny muscles around your eyes. In this soft release, you feel the ordinary practice of breathing become sacred. Each cycle, a koan, each pause an invitation to meet the stillness beneath thought. A gentle question arising. What remains when you cease all striving? You sit with the question as you would cradle a delicate blossom, neither crushing nor discarding it. In that tender space, you sense the possibility of a life lived without efforting, where doing and being converge. Outside, the night symphony deepens, a distant stream murmurs against mossy stones. A lone owl offers a solitary note, and the moon drifts beyond a veil of clouds. You rest within this living tableau, your heart attuned to the rhythms of nature's breath. There is nothing to accomplish, nowhere to go. Only this luminous present unfolding like a lotus petal at dawn. The air grows hushed as a soft chorus of frog song rises from the pond beyond the gate, each note weaving into a gentle lullaby that cradles your awareness. You feel the cool press of night air on your skin, and in that sensation arises the teaching of presence that every moment, however fleeting, is complete in itself. You recall the story of a young nun who, while sweeping the monastery yard, noticed one broomstroke so ordinary it nearly went unseen. Yet in that single gesture, she perceived the entire universe. What if the simplest act you perform holds the depth of all practice? You lean into the earth's support, sensing the ground beneath you as both teacher and companion. With each inhale, you draw in the richness of the soil's memory. With each exhale, you become the very sweep of the broom, clearing away layers of restlessness. In this ebb and flow, you find the middle way effort, without strain, ease, without collapse. A Zen tale drifts gently to your mind. A master once placed a pebble in his disciple's hand and asked him to hold it until instructed. Hours passed, and the disciple's arm grew tired and heavy. When he finally sighed and asked to set the stone down, the master smiled and said, "This stone is your thoughts held too tightly. Only by releasing does your arm and your mind find rest." You rest your unspoken burdens into the night, watching them fall away like shadows at dawn. You notice now the tender stillness that remains an expanse beyond effort and release, where breath becomes song and silence becomes the space in which song arises. What beauty lies in the pause between each note of your own heartbeat. Under the lantern's fading glow, you surrender to this unfolding mystery, allowing sleep's gentle current to carry you beyond thought. In this seamless merging of awareness and dream, you become both the song and the silence it inhabits, resting wholly in the boundless present. A quiet stillness envelops you as the pond's surface mirrors the star-laced sky, each speck of light drifting upon the water's gentle ripple. You remain lying upon the mat body, melting into the earth's gentle cradle breath, softening as if carried by the night breeze itself. Here you touch the essence of spaciousness, a field vast enough to hold every thought, every sensation without boundaries. In this expanse, the teaching of non-resistance whispers. When you stop pushing against what arises turmoil, gives way to clarity. You recall the story of a willow tree bent low by winter's weight, yet refusing to break. As spring arrived, it lifted unchanged by the storms it survived. Like the willow, you too can yield without losing strength, bending gracefully to life's currents and returning upright in your own time. You let your mind float like a leaf that once trembled on a branch, now falling, now carried gently by unseen currents. What if you surrendered every resistance, offering each thought and emotion to the wind's embrace? With that gentle release, your mind becomes still. A single firefly appears at the courtyard's edge, its tiny light pulsing like a heart in darkness. You watch it hover, blink and drift, each flash a testament to life's fleeting wonder. A Zen master once said, "The firefly does not wonder why it shines. It simply does." In that effortless radiance lies the purest form of being, shining without question or concern. You feel your own inner light flicker in response, subtle but unwavering. It is the lantern within that need not burn bright to illuminate the whole. You breathe in, sensing that spark expand through your chest into every cell of your body. With each exhale, you release the need to measure your glow against anything outside. You are enough. Outside, the willow's branches whisper in the night breeze, the firefly drifts beyond your sight, and the stars reflect in the pond's depths. You rest in this moment, no path to tread, no goal to reach, only the gentle unfolding of presence. And as your eyelids grow heavy, you let your awareness slip into the tender embrace of sleep, carried on the wings of this silent, boundless now. A faint warmth rises in your chest as the night's cool embrace surrounds you, reminding you that presence is both gentle and alive. You feel the steady pulse of your heart, each beat a soft drum, guiding you deeper into stillness. Here you discover the teaching of gratitude, that even in silence there is abundance to appreciate. You recall the tale of a humble farmer who, after years of drought, tasted the first drop of rain upon parched soil and wept with joy, recognizing that life itself is a gift no matter how small. Your breath slows further, each inhale a whisper of thanks for the simple act of existence, each exhale a silent bow to the night that holds you. In this gesture, gratitude becomes your prayer, unspoken yet resonant throughout every cell. What wonders might you uncover if every breath carried a silent thank you to the world? Softly, you imagine your awareness blossoming like the moonflower at midnight, its fragrant petals opening only in darkness. You feel a subtle bloom of compassion toward yourself, tender acceptance of every thought that arose tonight, every tension that dissolved, every moment lived fully. You rest in this compassion, knowing that kindness toward yourself is as vital as kindness toward all beings. Outside, the chorus of night creatures dims to a lull, as if the world itself slows its breath to match your own. In this profound quiet, you sense the meeting point of awareness and dream, a threshold woven from gratitude, compassion, and presence. There is no separation here. Each element arises and dissolves within the boundless field of being, and as the final flicker of wakeful awareness fades, you surrender to sleep's gentle current, carrying this quiet flame of gratitude into the realm of dreams, safe held and wholly at peace. A soft hush returns as you drift between wakefulness and sleep, nestled in the quiet cocoon of the courtyard's embrace. In the distance, the bamboo chimes tinkle with a gentle melody, each note a reminder that harmony arises when seemingly disparate parts come together. Like the chimes, your breath, heartbeat, and awareness converge into a single resonant tone, your own song of being. A core teaching surfaces interconnectedness is the web that binds all life. You remember the story of a single drop of dew on a spider's web, shining with the morning sun. Though small and fleeting, it reflected the entire world in its crystal sphere. In the same way, your awareness, though one among billions, carries the reflection of the vast universe. What hidden connections whisper through the web of your own life? You let this thought rest on your heart as you breathe, noticing how each inhalation gathers the world in, and each exhalation returns it gently back. In this exchange, you recognize the dance of give and take the rhythm of life itself. A Zen anecdote comes to mind. A master once tied two trees together with a single rope, then invited his disciples to pull on each end. No matter how they strained, the trees stood firm, unmoved. Unity, he said, makes us unshakable. You feel that unity now, the seamless bond between self and other observer, and observed, breath and being. Your chest rises and falls, matching the invisible tide of nocturnal life. You sense the courtyard breathing with you, the moss exhaling damp earth, the pines inhaling moonlight. There is no solitude here. Even in apparent stillness, life's current flows through you and around you, carrying you in a gentle embrace. A subtle question drifts. How does your life mirror the cosmos tonight? You refrain from answering, allowing the question to soften into the background of your awareness. Beyond thought, in the silent space where questions dissolve, you rest in pure presence. The bamboo chimes fall silent, and in their absence, you perceive a silence deeper than any sound. It is the silence that holds every note, every breath, every heartbeat. You sink into that silence, feeling its vast warmth cradle you. As sleep's veil finally descends, you yield completely to the tender pull of dreaming. In that final surrender, you carry the night's teachings, impermanence, no self, emptiness, interconnectedness, into the boundless realm beyond thought, where the song of your being continues without end. A cool hush settles as the courtyard grows stiller, the final echo of bamboo chimes fading into the soft pulse of night. You sense the world gently breathing all around you, the moss releasing its damp warmth, the pines whispering unseen secrets, the lantern's ember glow, dimming to the faint glow of memory. Here, in this profound quiet, you touch the core teaching of suchness, that reality is exactly as it is without your labels or judgments. You recall the story of a novice who complained that life's circumstances were unfair. His master guided him to a clear mountain stream and said, "Drink from it." The water was cold and sweet, the taste pure and immediate. Now the master said, "Tell me how it feels." The novice replied, "It simply flows as water does." Smiling, the master explained, "Life, like this stream, moves in its own way. When you cease imposing your stories, you taste its true clarity. In that clarity lies freedom. You close your eyes and imagine yourself as that stream flowing without obstruction, neither resisting rocks nor clinging to calm pools. Each sensation, each thought passes through you, leaving you fresh and clear. What happens when you let every judgment drift away, like leaves on the water's surface? A gentle invitation stirs within rest in the suchness of this moment. Feel the line between breath and air dissolve, the border between self and world soften. In that open space, you discover the unspoken song that threads through all things, the lantern's ember, the drifting leaf, your own heartbeat. As you linger there, so close to the threshold of dreams, you rest in pure presence, carried by the timeless flow of suchness. And in that peaceful current, you gently slip into sleep's embrace. You lie wrapped in the courtyard stillness, feeling the gentle weight of the earth beneath you, as though the world cradles you in its vast palm. A soft stir of wind carries a distant whisper of pine needles brushing together, like hushed voices sharing ancient secrets. In that soundless message, you hear the teaching of deep listening. When you attend, fully the world speaks its quiet wisdom. You remember the story of a samurai who sought enlightenment from a hermit on a mountain. Each day, the hermit struck a gong exactly once at sunrise. The samurai waited earnestly, but the hermit never spoke. One morning, the samurai asked, "What is the teaching of the gong?" The hermit replied softly, "Listen to the silence that follows." And in that lingering silence, the samurai discovered the soundless essence of the path. What silence follows the movements of your own heart tonight? You inhale slowly, allowing the silence to fill your lungs, expand through your chest flow into every cell. In the stillness that follows each thought, new awareness arises, subtle, profound, complete. You rest in that fertile pause, knowing it holds the seeds of all insight. A gentle reflection arises. What does it mean to listen to your own life without judgment, without expectation? You let the question rest as you would a fragile bird in your palm, feeling its soft heartbeat beneath your skin. In that tender care, you discover the essence of compassion toward yourself. Outside, the lantern's glow fades further until all that remains is the moon's pale presence overhead. You feel its cool radiance seep into your being, bathing every worry, every longing in the quiet balm of acceptance. There is no need to chase peace. It already resides here in the open expanse of your awareness. A final Zen anecdote drifts into your consciousness. A monk once asked his teacher, "What is Buddha?" The teacher raised a single flower and stared silently for a long moment. The monk wept, understanding that Buddha is not a doctrine, but the simple, ineffable beauty of a single offering. In that gesture lies the heart of practice, the sacred revealed in the ordinary. You close your eyes, resting in the reverence of the moment. Breath, heart, mind, each aligned in gentle harmony. And as the last threads of wakefulness dissolve, you drift fully into the boundless realm of dreams, carrying the lantern's quiet light within. A gentle hush settles as your awareness drifts between the last flicker of wakefulness and the first whispers of dream. You feel the courtyard's earth beneath you, the cool firmness beneath the softness of your body, cradling you without effort. In this cradle, you perceive the teaching of grounding. That presence is rooted in the here and now, yet reaches outward like a tree whose branches brush the sky. You recall the legend of the old master whose feet were said to never leave the earth. When asked how he could remain so rooted in meditation, yet so free in spirit, he bent to press his palms into the soil and whispered, "I carry the world on my back, and the world carries me." In that embrace of give and take you to, recognize the balance between surrender and support. Your breath becomes the bridge between earth and sky, drawing the cool night air inward and sending warmth outward in a silent offering. Each inhale anchors you. Each exhale lets you float. What if every breath could remind you of this seamless support, without which neither root nor branch could exist? Above, the moon's pale glow deepens, painting the courtyard in silver hues. You imagine yourself as a single leaf caught in moonlight, both illuminated and at rest. Here in the glow, you find the teaching of reflection, that the mind, like still water, reveals the depths when it becomes undisturbed. You sit in that tranquil mirror, watching your own heart unfold like the lotus under moonlight, each petal a breath, each petal a heartbeat. In this final moment, before sleep's gentle embrace, you rest wholly in the simple act of being carried by the earth, touched by the sky, and held by the boundless now. A silken quiet surrounds you as the boundary between courtyard and cosmos softens into a single expanse. You notice the faint shimmer of dew settling on each blade of grass, tiny prisms catching the moon's gentle light. In their delicate beauty, you perceive the teaching of presence in the small, that even the slightest phenomenon holds the vastness of being. You recall the tale of an itinerant monk who carried a single pebble in his robe pocket for years. One dawn he paused beside a rushing river and released the stone into the current. As he watched it drift away, he understood that each moment like that pebble must be let go to flow freely with life's river. In that release, he found the boundless freedom of mind. You breathe in the cool night air, imagining each inhalation, gathering every thought you've held too tightly. With each exhale, you let them slip away, like the pebble slipping from your grasp into the stream. What freedom arises when you surrender every weight you carry. The stars overhead flicker in silent rhythm, as if breathing in harmony with you. You find yourself suspended between Earth's solidity and sky's infinity, held by both without clinging to either. In this balance, the teaching of the middle path reveals its gentle strength, neither sinking into heaviness nor floating in aimlessness, but resting in the poised center. A soft breeze stirs again, carrying the distant murmur of temple bells bidding the hour. You listen without seeking meaning, allowing the sound to wash over you like a wave rising, cresting, and receding into silence. In that flow, you sense the unity of sound and silence form, and emptiness, the eternal dance of coming and going. As you lie here, cradled by dew-kissed grass and moonlit air, you feel the last vestiges of wakefulness dissolve. There is no more to cultivate, no more to grasp, only the vast, unspoken embrace of pure awareness. You rest fully in this moment, carried by the river of breath, anchored by the earth, lifted by the sky, and with that gentle merging, you drift, effortlessly, boundlessly, into the tender realm of sleep. The night air cool and still carries the soft echo of your own breath as it mingles with the gentle exhalation of the earth. You sense the courtyard stones beneath you, each one worn smooth by countless footsteps, reminders of every traveler who came seeking shelter in silence. In their solidity, you discover the teaching of endurance, that beneath every weathered surface lies a quiet strength forged through time. You recall the story of an old gardener who tended a solitary cherry tree through decades of winter and spring. When asked why he remained devoted to a tree so slow to bloom, he answered, "Each year, I water not for the petals, but for the roots." One spring, the tree burst forth in petals so abundant they carpeted the ground, and the gardener simply smiled, knowing his care had reached unseen depths. In that patient tending, you find the power of steady practice. Even small efforts sustained yield profound beauty. You close your eyes and feel the rhythm of the seasons woven into your own body, soft expansion with each inhale, gentle contraction with each exhale. What seeds of intention lie beneath your surface, waiting for the warmth of simple, consistent attention? A soft breeze drifts through the bamboo, carrying with it a faint memory of blossoms past. You listen to the rustle as if it were a whispered teaching. Nothing blooms without passing through darkness first. In that understanding, you honor your own cycles of growth, each phase necessary, each moment sacred. In the hush that follows, you offer a silent question to the night. How can I tend my own roots with gentleness and care? You wait without expectation, allowing the stillness to answer in its own time. And as the first veil of sleep gathers at your eyelids, you rest in the knowing that every breath, every moment of presence is itself the tender watering of your heart. You feel the hush deepen as night exhales its final secrets, and you lie cradled by the earth's gentle firmness. Above, the moon drifts behind a veil of clouds, softening its glow into a silver whisper. In this shifting light, you encounter the teaching of impermanence once more. Even the moon's brilliance waxes and wanes, and so does every experience. You remember the tale of the traveling poet, who upon seeing a withered flower knelt to brush away its petals and press them into his journal. Years later, he opened the journal to find the petals long gone, yet the imprint of their shape remained a delicate memory etched into the paper. He realized that while form fades, the essence endures in subtle traces. What imprint do you wish to leave upon the vast page of awareness? Your breath softens into a lullaby, each inhale drawing in the memory of blossoms past each exhale, releasing attachment to moments already slipped away. You rest in that tender balance between holding and letting go, like the poet and his fragile bloom. A gentle breeze stirs the bamboo once more, and you hear the faint rustle as a silent koan. What sound does the wind make when it carries away every thought? You sit with that mystery, letting the question dissolve into the seamless tapestry of night. In this final threshold before sleep's embrace, compassion arises naturally, an unspoken warmth toward every part of yourself that clings or releases. You cradle that warmth in your heart, knowing that kindness flows both to what remains and to what departs. And as your breath deepens into the rhythm of dreams, you surrender fully to the vast, boundless stream of being carried gently into the silent wonder of uncharted inner landscapes. A hush like velvet settles as the courtyard breathes its quiet farewell to wakefulness. You feel the soft press of night air against your skin, each molecule a gentle caress, reminding you that you are both contained and infinite. Here, in this tender transition, you encounter the teaching of non-seeking. When you cease the chase, the sought appears of its own accord. You recall the legend of a silent hermit who lived at the forest's edge, never speaking, yet always heard. Travelers would leave gifts of food and flowers at his door, and one curious soul left a mirror. The hermit placed the mirror against a tree and walked away. When the traveler returned, he found only his own reflection framed by forest, realizing that the hermit's true gift was the insight that the mirror he sought lay within his own heart. What reflections arise within you when you hold still? Your breath follows a gentle arc, rising like mist from the earth and dissolving into the vast night. With each inhalation, you draw in the forest's calm. With each exhalation, you release any final striving. In this ebb and flow, the boundary between inner and outer worlds softens until they merge into one seamless field of presence. A faint glow appears at the far end of the courtyard, a single firefly dancing in slow motion. You watch its pattern, each blink a reminder that existence is both fleeting and radiant. In its tiny light, you perceive the teaching of spontaneous expression, to shine exactly as you are without hesitation or apology. As you lie, embraced by earth and sky, you feel yourself drifting toward the threshold of dreams. Thoughts like autumn leaves flutter gently away, leaving the mind as clear as a still pond. And in that clear expanse, you rest fully held by the silent wisdom of night, carried into the realm of dreams by the simple, enduring truth of being. A gentle stillness envelops you as the courtyard and cosmos become one continuum of calm. You sense the earth's heartbeat beneath you, echoing your own steady, unwavering timeless. In this union arises the teaching of abiding, that true rest comes not from escaping life, but from meeting it fully here and now. You recall the story of a wanderer who, weary from endless seeking, sank to the ground beneath an ancient oak. As he leaned against its trunk, he heard the tree's steady breath and felt its roots intertwine with his own. In that moment, the wanderer realized that home is not a distant place, but the simple resting of awareness in the world's embrace. What if you too could lean into life's support and find home in every moment? Your breath deepens each cycle, a silent affirmation of belonging. Inhale the cool night air, filling your lungs like a whispered invitation. Exhale the soft release of every clinging thought. You rest in this rhythm, neither holding on nor pushing away, but cradled by the seamless flow of being. Outside, the moon drifts across a sea of stars, and the world sleeps in luminous hush. You yield to sleep's gentle arms, carrying with you the night's tender teachings. Presence release unity into the boundless fields of dream, where the song of awareness continues without end. A soft breeze stirs once more, weaving through the courtyard and carrying with it the faint scent of autumn's first turning leaves. You lie still, feeling the delicate dance of air upon skin and the gentle murmur of your own blood, a silent testament to life's tender persistence. In this subtle movement, you perceive the teaching of adaptation, that even the smallest shift in perspective can transform struggle into grace. You recall the tale of a heron standing motionless at a pond's edge, waiting patiently for its meal. When a fish finally swam close, the heron snapped its beak with effortless precision, its patience rewarded by ease. In the same way, your stillness becomes your strength. By yielding to the present, you align with the flow of life rather than resist it. Your breath unfolds like the heron's wing, steady, purposeful light. With each inhale, you welcome the world's mysteries. With each exhale, you release the weight of expectation. In this gentle rhythm, you find that patience is not passive, but alive, a quiet power that guides you without force. Above, stars shimmer like distant lanterns guiding you through the night. You imagine each point of light as a moment of awareness, brief yet radiant, fleeting yet eternal. What if you recognized every breath as such a beacon illuminating the path of your own being? Slowly, the boundary between breath and world dissolves, and you rest in the seamless continuum of existence. No thought distracts you. No desire pulls you away. You are held by the soft weave of night's tapestry, each thread a promise of calm. And so, in this hushed expanse, you drift ever deeper, carried by the gentle current of presence into the silent healing embrace of sleep. A soft hush falls as you sense the first stirring of dawn's promise beyond the courtyard walls, the sky shifting ever so gently from ebony to indigo. You lie still, anchored by the earth's warmth, and feel the subtle pull of morning weaving through your bones. In that gentle transition, you encounter the teaching of renewal. Each moment brings the possibility of beginning again. You recall the story of a temple caretaker who at the break of every day swept the courtyard clean before sunrise. When a disciple asked why he performed the same humble task each morning, the caretaker replied, "Because each day is new, and even the dust of yesterday cannot hold today's light." In his simple devotion, you recognize that renewal arises from conscious presence, moment by moment. Your breath lengthens each inhale, drawing in the promise of fresh air. Each exhale, releasing remnants of night's stillness. You sense the courtyard, awakening the bamboo rustling like soft laughter, the lantern's ember finally extinguish the silhouette of moss, glowing faintly in dawn's pale glow. In this unfolding awakening, you rest in the middle path between night and day, between sleep and wake, held gently in the seamless flow of time. A pale ribbon of light unfurls across the sky as the first hints of dawn brush the horizon. Beneath this tender glow, you feel the courtyard breathe anew, each stone, each blade of grass poised between shadow and light. In this awakening, you meet the teaching of balance, that the same stillness that carries you into sleep can carry you into day. You recall the tale of a young seeker who climbed the mountain before sunrise to greet the dawn. When he reached the summit, he found his master seated quietly on a rock. "Why do you come here every morning?" asked the seeker. The master pointed to the horizon. "Because I do not miss the moment when darkness surrenders to light." You sense that same invitation now to be present for each unfolding instant, whether cloaked in night's hush or bathed in morning's glow. Your breath gathers the crispness of dawn, filling you with fresh vitality. With each exhale, you honor the night's gifts, its teachings of release and repose. In this exchange, you stand at the threshold of both endings and beginnings, resting in their seamless continuity. Outside the gate, a single blossom unfurls a white camellia, catching the dawn's first beam. You notice how its petals glisten with dew, each drop reflecting the sky's shifting colors. In that simple bloom, you find the teaching of cyclical beauty, that every ending seeds a new beginning, and every beginning carries the quiet wisdom of what came before. You lie back and feel the warmth of earth beneath you as the world transitions. The boundary between sleep and wakefulness blurs, yet there is no loss in this blending. Instead, you carry the calm of night into day's first breath, allowing each moment to be both completion and commencement. And as the courtyard brightens into full morning light, you rest in the clarity that dawn provides, fully awake, yet still cradled by the night's gentle teachings. A soft warmth rises as the camellia's petals catch the morning light, and you feel that same light awaken within you, a quiet radiance born of night's deep rest. You sense the garden stirring around you, a gentle rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of water in the fountain, the song of an unseen bird greeting the dawn. In this chorus of renewal, you encounter the teaching of awakening, that each moment holds the seed of realization, tender and immediate. You recall the story of a meditator who, upon opening her eyes after years of deep practice, saw not the world as new, but herself as new, freed from the chains of past and future. When asked what she experienced, she smiled and said, "I met the world without my story, and it welcomed me as I am." You rest in that welcome now, free, open, luminous. Your breath carries the crispness of dawn. Each inhale a sip of clear, fresh air. Each exhale a soft release of night's lingering shadows. You lie cradled by earth and sky, neither clinging to yesterday nor chasing tomorrow, fully present in the gentle birth of this day. And in that presence, you find the true dawn, the awakening of awareness itself, bright and boundless. A gentle chorus of sparrows greets the fledgling light, their soft trills weaving through the bamboo boughs, as if offering a humble hymn to the new day. You rise slowly, letting your body unfold like the petals of the camellia you watched. Bloom each movement, deliberate and tender. In this unhurried rising, you meet the teaching of right effort, steady measured action, born from presence rather than force. You recall the tale of a calligrapher who painted a single brushstroke on rice paper, lifting his brush only when the stroke felt complete. Critics marveled at his restraint. Why not fill the page with characters? He replied, "One perfect stroke contains the whole." You feel the truth of that simplicity, now knowing that every small, mindful action holds the essence of your practice. Stepping onto the stone path, you feel the coolness beneath your feet, anchoring you in each moment's reality. With every step you draw in the morning's vitality and release lingering drowsiness. Inhale life's freshness. Exhale all heaviness. What if each step you take today were both journey and arrival? Ahead, a low wooden bench sits beneath a maple tree whose leaves are just turning gold. You pause there and bow gently, gratitude offered to the quiet teacher of change. For just as night became day, so too can your own practice carry you from rest into action, from stillness into compassionate engagement. In the soft glow of dawn, you carry the night's teachings with you, not as relics of a distant ritual, but as living presence in every breath, every gesture, every kind word you offer. And so, with heart open and mind clear, you step forward into the unfolding day, cradled by the river of awareness and guided by the gentle wisdom of each passing moment. A gentle hush follows your bow as you rise from the bench, carrying the warmth of gratitude in your chest. The maple's golden leaves tremble in the breeze, scattering motes of light across the path like dancing lanterns. In their quiet motion, you sense the teaching of mindful attention. That beauty reveals itself when you look without hurry or distraction. Footsteps lead you past the pond, where water lilies still drift their blossoms, now tinged with dawn's soft blush. You pause to gaze at their reflection, understanding that inner stillness mirrors the world's calm surface. In that reflection, you find the invitation to carry this serenity into every interaction, every thought, every breath. Ahead, a stone basin filled with fresh water awaits. You dip your hands into its clarity, lifting the cool water to your face to wash away the last vestiges of sleep. As droplets slide and gather, you remember the teaching of purification, that renewal often arrives through simple cleansing rituals. You feel renewed, each bead of water dissolving fatigue and opening space for compassionate action. Walking back toward the hall, you notice the lantern's post, now bare. Its flame extinguished its purpose complete. Yet you carry the lantern's light within you, the steady glow of awakened presence that needs no wick. Each step resonates with the fruit of practice, each inhale a vow to remain awake to life's unfolding mysteries. As the sun's first rays seep through shoji screens, you pause at the threshold. The world beyond awaits, filled with countless moments to tend with care, countless beings to meet with kindness. And though the courtyard's sacred hush will fade behind you, its teachings remain the grace of impermanence, the freedom of release, the unity of all things, and the gentle power of presence. With a final mindful breath, you step forward into the day heart steady mind, clear spirit at peace, carrying the quiet wisdom of the night into every unfolding moment. A soft breeze carries the scent of jasmine as you move beyond the hall, each inhalation drawing the flower's sweetness into your being. You feel the warmth of intention stirring in your chest, a quiet resolve to live with purpose and care. In that gentle fire, you encounter the teaching of skillful means that compassion takes countless forms, like water shaping itself to every vessel it enters. You recall the tale of a traveling nun who, seeing villagers in pain, offered them not doctrine, but hot tea, shared in silence beneath a willow. Her simple act spoke deeper than any sermon, reminding you that presence itself is the greatest gift. What gestures of kindness can you offer today that flow naturally from your open heart? Walking along the moss-lined path, you notice the dew's glimmer, catching each pebble's curve. You bend to touch one feeling, its cool smoothness, and sense the teaching of humility, that greatness lies in honoring what is small and unseen. In recognizing the pebble's quiet perfection, you acknowledge the sacred in every detail of your life. Above a lone sparrow alights on a low branch and surveys the garden with bright, curious eyes. You pause to meet its gaze, knowing that recognition, simply seeing another being, carries immense warmth. In that mutual acknowledgement arises true connection, the weaving of one life into another. With each step, you carry these teachings forward: compassion in small acts, humility before the world's subtle marvels, and a steady intention to meet each moment with an open heart. And as the day's first warmth unfolds across the courtyard, you feel the soft unfolding of your own purpose, rooted in presence and blossoming into every gentle interaction yet to come. You step onto the sunlit gravel path, each tiny stone pressing warmly into the soles of your feet, grounding you in the living moment. The scent of jasmine mingles with fresh-cut grass as you make your way toward the low stone bridge arching over the koi-filled pond. As you pause at its crest, you watch the fish glide beneath the surface, bright scales flickering like living jewels. In their silent grace, you find the teaching of flow, that life, like water, moves around obstacles, carrying you forward with effortless ease. You lean on the bridge's railing, feeling its cool solidity against your palms, and offer a gentle bow of gratitude to the creatures beneath. A Zen master once said, "To honor all life is to honor the pulse of the universe." In this simple gesture, you connect deeply with the web of being, acknowledging that every life, no matter how small, reflects the vast mystery of existence. Turning from the pond, you carry that sense of interconnectedness with you as you follow the winding path through a grove of bamboo. Sunlight dapples through the slender trunks, casting shifting patterns on the ground. You walk slowly, letting each step be deliberate, a moving meditation. In this rhythm, you discover the teaching of embodied awareness, that the path itself is practice, and every footfall contains the whole of the journey. Ahead, the path opens onto a small clearing where a single empty bowl rests on a stone pedestal. Its surface is polished smooth by years of use. You approach and place your hand lightly upon its rim, feeling the whisper of countless offerings once held within. This bowl is both vessel and symbol openness, receiving life's gifts without clinging. You bow, committing to bear that openness in every encounter you will meet this day. Turning back toward the hall, you carry with you the simple vow to live with gentle intention, offering kindness in small acts, attentive presence in every interaction, and steady compassion in all you do. And as you cross the threshold into the unfolding day, you do so with the lantern of awareness glowing brightly within your heart, ready to illuminate the path of each new moment. A warm light spills through the hall's open doorway as you return, a subtle reminder that practice extends beyond the garden's borders. You pause at the threshold, inhaling the mingled scents of jasmine and aged wood, and feel the teaching of seamless practice, that the qualities you cultivate in stillness, presence, compassion, openness need no separation from the world's everyday moments. Your footsteps carry you past low tables set for morning tea, their surfaces smooth and inviting. You bow gently to the simple ritual awaiting you, acknowledging that ceremony and daily life are one and the same. When you sit before the steaming bowl, you lift it with both hands, savoring its warmth and aroma. Each sip becomes a meditation, a communion of body and mind. As you drink, you recall the story of a court painter who, when asked how to capture beauty, replied, "First, you must learn to taste tea fully. Only then can you paint a blossom." In that lesson, you understand that every act, however ordinary, holds the fullness of practice when attended with care. You finish your tea and set the bowl down, noticing the slight echo as it meets the wooden tray. That understated sound, so easily overlooked, reminds you that mindfulness resides in the subtle details. With each gentle exhalation, you release any remnant of separation between self and action, intention and movement. Stepping beyond the hall, you carry the warmth of tea ritual into the day's unfolding tapestry, ready to meet each encounter as both ceremony and life itself, guided by the lantern of awareness shining steadily within. You rise from the low table and carry the empty tea bowl to the wooden rack, setting it down with mindful care. Each movement lifting your arm, placing the bowl becomes a gentle bow to the simplicity of action. A core teaching stirs in your awareness. When body and mind align, even the smallest task becomes sacred. You recall the tale of a monk who polished the temple steps until they gleamed. Villagers came from miles away, not for sermons, but to feel the calm radiating from each reflection. In that polish, they sense the light within themselves. Stepping outside, you pick up the bamboo broom left beside the hall and begin to sweep the courtyard. The soft whisper of bristles against stone resonates like a mantra. Sweep, breathe in. Sweep, breathe out. In the cadence of sweeping, you perceive the teaching of continuous practice. Every act renews both you and the world. You pause when a fallen petal rests on the stone, gently guiding it into a cluster of blossoms without haste or judgment. What if every moment could be treated as this petal, handled with tenderness, neither forced nor ignored? Leaving the courtyard, you move along a moss-lined corridor to the incense altar. You light a single stick and watch the thin spiral of smoke rise, twisting into the air before dissolving. This is the teaching of impermanence made fragrant. Each curl of smoke reminds you that form emerges and vanishes in an instant. You inhale the aroma deeply, letting it fill your chest and clear the channels of thought. In this fragrant clarity, you find space for compassionate vows, to speak kindly, to listen fully, to meet all beings with an open heart. You continue to the calligraphy corner, where crisp rice paper awaits. Picking up your brush, you pause, feeling its weight, its balance. The teaching of right effort guides your hand only one stroke, no more, no less. You allow the brush to move as it wills, trusting that your awareness will guide it. When you finish, you bow to the character drawn a simple symbol of heart, and see in its form both strength and softness, just as your own heart holds courage and compassion together. As you step back into the opening of the hall, the morning sun has climbed higher, bathing the space in gentle warmth. You pause in the doorway, taking one final full breath, mindful, present, awake, and carry the continuity of practice into whatever tasks the day may bring, each one an opportunity to rest in the ever-unfolding now. You step away from the hall's threshold and follow the garden path toward a low arched bridge spanning a gentle stream. Each footfall is deliberate, the soft gravel whispering beneath your soles. You pause at the bridge's midpoint, inhaling the mossy scent of water and stone. Here, you perceive the teaching of receptivity, that true wisdom arrives not through force, but through the openness to receive what life offers. You recall the story of a monk who sat by a river for days without speaking. Travelers asked him what he sought. He simply smiled and pointed to the flowing water. In that silent gesture, they understood the river teaches by giving itself freely, unself-conscious, and continuous. What might you receive today if you ceased striving and simply attended to life's unfolding? Leaning on the bridge's railing, you watch the stream's clear current winding around stones and fallen leaves. You imagine yourself as the water fluid, unresisting, shaping itself to every contour, yet moving forward with graceful determination. In this fluidity, you find the balance between effort and surrender, between holding fast and letting go. A soft breeze carries the whisper of pine needles overhead, each needle brushing its neighbor in a quiet dance of harmony. This is the teaching of interdependence. Each movement depends on another. Every sound arises from the meeting of forces. You breathe in that harmony, feeling your own being resonate with the subtle music of the garden. You place both hands on the cool wood and bow gently to the stream below, a vow of receptivity, of listening without defense. Then, with one final mindful breath, you step across the bridge, carrying the river's lesson forward to meet each moment with an open heart, ready to receive life's blessings as they flow unimpeded and true. You leave the bridge and follow a winding path flanked by lacquered stones and quiet ferns. With each step, you feel the teaching of mindful travel. The journey itself, foot by foot, is both practice and destination. You notice the subtle play of light and shadow upon the path, as if the world composes a silent poem just for you. Ahead, a solitary stone lantern stands at the edge of a small grove. You pause beneath its curved roof and trace the delicately carved chrysanthemum petal motif, recalling the impermanence that permeates all beauty. A chrysanthemum blooms and fades within days, yet its fleeting grace leaves an impression upon the heart. You bow to the lantern's enduring presence, honoring both its strength and its vulnerability. Continuing on, you enter the dappled shade of a maple grove. The sun, now higher, filters through leaves turning copper and gold, painting the ground in shifting patterns. Here lies the teaching of gratitude for change. Each hue reminds you that transformation, though inevitable, can be met with appreciation rather than resistance. What new colors might you discover in your own unfolding? You finish your walk at a low wooden bench beside a quiet pond. Sitting down, you open your palms to receive the day's first warmth. In that simple act, no more than holding space for light, you honor the soft merging of practice and life. The world moves, seasons shift, and yet within you the lamp of awareness burns steadily, guiding every breath, every step, every moment. You rise from the bench, dusting your palms lightly on your robe as a gesture of gratitude for the pond's quiet presence. The sun now warms the garden path, and you feel its rays weaving through the maple leaves, gilding each step you take. In this gentle ascent, you perceive the teaching of aspiration to move forward, not out of restlessness, but from a place of heartfelt intention. You follow the winding trail, up a gentle incline toward the meditation hall, noting how each stone has been placed with purpose, neither too large nor too small, forming a bridge between earth and sky. You breathe in the tranquility of this design, letting its harmony guide your mind into stillness, even as your body moves. At the hall's threshold, you pause to fold your hands in respectful greeting. The sliding doors glide open smoothly, revealing an interior bathed in soft light filtered through rice paper screens. You step inside barefoot, feeling the cool wood beneath your feet, and walk toward the center cushion. Each footfall is a silent bow to the space that holds so many hours of silent practice. Seated once again, you straighten your spine, aligning the crown of your head with the navel of the earth. In this posture, you meet the teaching of balance effort and ease coexisting perfectly. Your breath becomes the metronome that anchors you. Long inhale, long exhale, falling into a rhythm older than thought itself. As you settle, you recall the Zen adage, do nothing mindfully. You let that instruction wash over you, dissolving any lingering agenda to achieve or become. Instead, you rest in the simple act of being heart-open senses, awake mind unburdened. Outside, the garden hums with life bees, gathering nectar leaves, rustling and greeting a single lotus blossom, drifting atop a small indoor water basin. You allow these subtle sounds to arise and dissolve in your awareness, each one a reminder that practice and the world are not separate, but reflections of the same mindful presence. And so you sit, body and breath, woven into the tapestry of now carrying the lessons of the morning openness, intention balance, into the silent guard of your own awakening. A soft hush fills the meditation hall as you settle onto the cushion, the warmth of the morning sun still lingering on your skin. You straighten your spine, feeling the vertebrae align like a gentle column of light from earth to sky. In this poised stillness, you meet the teaching of beginner's mind, approaching each moment as if for the very first time, free from expectation and rich with possibility. You recall the story of a novice who persisted in zazen for months without noticing any change. Frustrated, he complained to his teacher. "Nothing happens." The master replied, "Everything happens." One dawn, the novice opened his eyes and saw the dust motes dancing in the sunbeam. For the first time, ordinary things revealed as extraordinary. In that fresh perception, his practice bloomed. What if you too could see this breath, this posture, this silent hall as entirely new? As you breathe in, you feel the softness of each inhale unfolding through your chest. As you breathe out, you sense the subtle release of every held thought. You let your attention rest on the meeting point of inhale and exhale, the silent pause where spirit and matter intermingle. In that pause lies the doorway to presence, unadorned and complete. A gentle question stirs within what arises when you attend to this moment without commentary. You sit with the question, allowing the mind's surface to become like still water, reflective, open, undisturbed. Outside, the distant chime of the temple bell drifts in not as a call to action, but as a friend's soft reminder to return home to yourself. You rest here, body and breath, inseparable, mind and world unified, carrying the beginner's wonder into every subtle movement of awareness that follows. Your eyelids flutter gently as the hall's hush deepens around you. Each breath a silent drumbeat guiding you inward. You settle into the embrace of stillness, noticing the cool touch of air on the back of your neck, the soft weight of your robe against your skin. In this attentive pause arises the teaching of simplicity that the most profound truths often wear no adornment. You recall the tale of a lone lantern keeper who tended a single lamp atop a cliff each night. Travelers marveled at his devotion, asking why he tended only one light when so many needed guidance. He replied, "This one light stands for all. As long as it shines, darkness cannot prevail." In that humble gesture, you perceive the power of focused attention, tending the single flame of awareness within you, wards off the shadows of distraction. As you inhale, you gather the lamp's radiance into your chest. As you exhale, you send its warmth through your limbs. In the soft glow of your inner light, thoughts surface like ripples on a pond, each acknowledged, each allowed to settle back into silence. What clarity emerges when you tend only one flame, undivided, unwavering. Outside the hall, the world stirs with quiet reverence. A breeze rustles the bamboo birds, lift their morning song from branch to branch, and the first blossoms of spring unfurl in shy greeting. You remain rooted in the still center, allowing life's gentle orchestra to play through your being. In this seamless harmony, you rest as both musician and listener, heart and mind, united in the single luminous note of presence. A soft murmur of movement drifts through the grove as you rise from your seat, each muscle unfolding with quiet deliberation. You step onto the shaded path, where ferns unfurl like ancient scrolls, their delicate spirals echoing the curves of your own breath. In this verdant corridor, you meet the teaching of naturalness, that life's true expression flows effortlessly without artifice or contrivance. You recall the story of a master woodcarver who never planned his designs in advance. When asked how he created such harmony in each piece, he replied, "I do not carve the wood, I reveal the form that is already there." With each step among the ferns, you listen for your own innate shape, allowing your movements, your thoughts, and your intentions to align with the effortless rhythm of the living world. Ahead, the path opens onto a small clearing where a solitary wind chime sways between two pines. You pause beneath its gentle song, feeling the vibrations resonate through your chest like a shared heartbeat. This is the teaching of resonance. When you cultivate inner stillness, you naturally harmonize with the world's subtle music. You inhale the chime's lingering note, and on the exhale, you release any remaining tension, letting it drift away on the breeze. In the soft half-light, you continue onward, each footfall, both gesture and prayer, carrying with you the living lessons of naturalness, resonance, and presence, ready to unfold in whatever moments lie ahead. You step beyond the grove's edge into a sunlit courtyard where white pebbles crunch softly beneath your feet. The warmth of midday sun presses gently against your skin, inviting you to meet its energy with mindful awareness. Here you encounter the teaching of fullness, that abundance is not measured by more, but by complete presence in what is. You remember the tale of a mendicant who carried only a single robe and bowl, yet always had enough a leaf falling into his bowl would become a meal when gratitude consecrated it. One afternoon, villagers offered him a lavish feast, but he declined, smiling that the simple porridge they once shared was enough. In his contentment, you glimpse the riches of sufficiency. What does enough look like in your own life when you meet each moment with gratitude? Walking to the low bench beneath an ancient camphor tree, you feel the dappled light play upon your robe. You sit and let your palms rest on your knees, closing your eyes to listen to the hidden symphony of life, the distant hum of insects. A breeze stirring leaves your own blood, pulsing like a quiet drum. In this deep listening lies the teaching of attunement. When you orient inward and outward simultaneously, you become one with the living whole. A gentle question arises unbidden. What harmony emerges when you open fully to the presence orchestra? You rest in that inquiry, allowing its resonance to vibrate through every cell. In this seamless breath, practice and daily life converge, and you carry this midday meditation as you rise once more to continue your day. Heart anchored, mind enlivened, spirit at ease. You rise from the camphore's shade and wander down a narrow corridor lined with shoji screens that filter the sun's warmth into soft, dappled light. Each step carries you closer to the small tea pavilion perched above a trickling stream. As you cross the wooden threshold, you feel the teaching of non-duality, that inner and outer merge when you no longer separate self from world. You recall the story of a samurai who, seeking mastery, practiced his sword form by flowing water's side. One day, as he struck the rushing current, a ripple formed beneath his blade, showing him that blade and water were never distinct. In that instant, he laid down his sword, recognizing that life itself is both the river and the hand that guides it. You settle onto the tatami mat beside the low table, closing your eyes as you listen to the stream's gentle murmur. Inhale deeply, the faint scent of steamed rice and tea. Exhale softly, any trace of hurry that remains. A quiet invitation stirs within you. What wisdom arises when you rest fully in this seamless flow of breath and sound. You leave the question lingering in the stillness. Letting the pavilion's calm hold it tenderly as you sit, neither moving nor striving, simply present to each unfolding moment. A soft warmth radiates from the wooden floor beneath you as you breathe in the pavilion's gentle hush, feeling the very structure become an extension of your own stillness. In this quiet exchange between wood and breath, you touch the teaching of reciprocity, that every gesture you offer the world returns to you in gentle echo. You recall the tale of a farmer who every morning poured water onto a parched field, and at night placed a single lantern at its edge. Neighbors puzzled over his modest labor and meager light, until one season of drought turned the field into a lush oasis where both crops and wildlife flourished around that solitary lamp. In his patience and care, the farmer understood that kindness sown without expectation yields abundance beyond imagining. Your inhale draws in the murmur of the stream below the soft rustle of bamboo leaves overhead, the distant trill of a skylark greeting midday. With each exhale, you offer back a silent vow to meet life's smallest details with mindful attention, knowing that in this reciprocity, both giver and given are renewed. What do you receive now from the world's subtle gifts? And how can you return them with grace? A gentle breeze stirs the scroll of rice paper before you, causing the calligraphy ink to quiver like a living thing. You lean forward, tracing the character for interdependence with your gaze, and feel its truth settle in your bones, that nothing exists in isolation, that every thought and action weaves into the vast pattern of being. In this recognition, your breath becomes both thread and tapestry, connecting you to the humming life all around. Sunlight filters through the trellis overhead, illuminating motes of dust drifting in the air, each one a tiny jewel dancing briefly before settling back into stillness. You watch them for a moment, knowing that every speck carries its own journey, its own moment of radiance. And in that, seeing you understand the teaching of individual worth, that every life, however small, shines with its own light and deserves to be honored. As you sit here, body rooted, mind open, you feel the pavilion's quiet wisdom infuse your being. No longer separate from the world's breath and song, you rest in the seamless flow of giving and receiving, of activity and repose. And in this living harmony, you find the sweetest ease, an unspoken invitation to carry this reciprocity into the moments yet to unfold. A gentle hush settles as you rise from the pavilion, your body carrying the warmth of midday sun like a quiet ember within. You step onto the wooden walkway that curves beside the stream, feeling each plank beneath your feet as an invitation to mindful journey. In the soft echo of your footsteps, you perceive the teaching of seamless movement, that life flows, when action and awareness become one. You remember the story of the pilgrim who walked for weeks with bare feet, each step an act of devotion. When asked why he endured the rough path, he replied, "My feet remind me with every breath that each moment is sacred." You pause mid-step, inhaling the scent of earth and water mingled, and bow gently to the path itself, honoring the simple truth that every journey, no matter how small, carries the whole of practice. Ahead, the walkway leads into a grove of ancient oaks, their gnarled branches forming a cathedral of leaves above. Light filters through in slow, shifting patterns, and you stand for a moment in that interplay of shadow and sun. Here you meet the teaching of interplay. That clarity emerges when light dances with darkness and understanding dawns in the meeting of contrasts. You breathe in the dappled glow, and on the exhale, you soften into the unity of both shade and beam. Continuing on, you follow the curve of the stream until you reach a simple stone basin fed by a bamboo spout. Water spills in a perfect arc, and you watch the droplets catch the sun like scattered jewels before pooling in the stone's hollow. This is the teaching of circular return. Every gift you pour into the world returns to you transformed. You cup your hands, catching the cool current, and lift it to your lips, drinking deeply of the moment's pure clarity. In that taste, you recognize that presence and gratitude are inseparable. With each subsequent breath, you carry these lessons: seamless movement, sacred journey, interplay of opposites, circular return into the unfolding steps ahead. And as you follow the stream's gentle curve deeper into the garden, you rest in the knowing that ceremony and life question and answer seeking and arriving all flow together in the boundless river of now. A hush of anticipation settles as you leave the bamboo basin and follow the stream's meander through the garden's heart. Moss-lined stones guide your feet, each one bearing the subtle warmth of the day's unfolding light. In this gentle progression, you encounter the teaching of unforced effort, that right action flows naturally from clear intention without strain or hurry. You recall the story of the weaver who, sitting at her loom, allowed the threads to guide her hands rather than forcing her pattern onto the cloth. Over time, her tapestry wove itself into patterns of extraordinary grace, each thread finding its place through quiet attention. With each step beside the stream, you sense your own path, emerging a weave of intention and ease, where every moment contributes its hue and texture. Ahead, the water curves around a cluster of river rocks, forming a calm pool where tiny minnows dart in playful flickers. You pause to observe their dance, noting how each fish moves in harmony with the current, adapting instantly to every ripple. In their fluid grace, you perceive the teaching of adaptability to meet each situation with openness, responding to life's shifts without losing your center. A soft breeze drifts off the water, carrying the fresh fragrance of wild mint and earth. You lift a single leaf, bringing it to your lips to taste its cool brightness. In that simple act, you feel the teaching of direct experience that truth is found not in words, but in the immediacy of sensation. What wisdom arises when you taste life without preconception, without judgment, You let the mint's clarity flow through you, and as you exhale, you release any lingering separation between observer and observed. The stream, the rocks, the fish, the leaf, and your own beating heart all converge in a seamless moment of being. You continue onward, guided by this unified awareness, carrying the garden's quiet lessons with each mindful step into the boundless now. A gentle hush settles over the garden as you follow the stream's song toward a low stepping stone crossing. Each stone, smoothed by centuries of water's caress, rises just enough to guide your foot, offering support without insistence. In this delicate balance, you encounter the teaching of mutual reliance, that every path forward depends on both firmness and flexibility, just as each stepping stone depends on the current that shaped it. You pause mid-crossing, feeling the cool spray against your ankles and the warm sun upon your shoulders. You imagine the stones forming a bridge not only between banks, but between past and present, thought and action, intention and outcome. What subtle support do you offer yourself when memory and aspiration converge? Stepping carefully to the far side, you carry with you the fluid grace of water and the steadfast presence of stone. Ahead, a small alcove reveals a single bonsai perched atop a mossy pedestal. You approach and study its miniature branches, each twist and turn shaped by patient hands, each leaf a testament to tender guidance. In its miniature world, you perceive the teaching of smallness, that even the tiniest form, when tended with devotion, can reflect the vastness of care and the depth of practice. You cup your hands beneath the bonsai's canopy as though gathering its essence, and gently bow in gratitude for the quiet wisdom it shares. Behind you, the stream continues its journey, indifferent to your passage, yet unchanged by its presence, teaching once more that while you are part of all change, the source of flow remains ever true. Rising, you turn back toward the heart of the garden, feeling your own mind flow alongside the water's current, both guided by unseen forces, yet free in their unfolding. With each step, you carry the teachings of mutual reliance, patient care, and the power held within small forms, ready to weave them into the tapestry of your life's unfolding moments. A gentle warmth settles in your chest as you leave the alcove, the bonsai's quiet grace lingering like an unspoken vow. You follow the path as it curves beneath a canopy of maple and pine, each step a soft echo of intention and release. Here you meet the teaching of deep listening, to attend not only with ears, but with every cell, each inhalation gathering the world's subtle messages, each exhalation sending your own response into the living air. You recall the story of a poet who sat in silence beside a waterfall until its roar became her own heartbeat. Only then could she pen a single verse that captured both thunder and hush. In that resonance, you recognize the power of listening so fully that your voice arises naturally from the depth of stillness. Ahead, the path opens onto a mossy glade where a simple stone seat awaits. You settle onto it, letting the cool surface ground your awareness. A soft wind stirs the needles overhead, sprinkling pale green confetti at your feet. This is the teaching of gratitude in each moment, to receive life's smallest gifts, the gentle rustle, the drifting light, the breath that carries them in open hands and an open heart. You close your eyes and feel the hushed symphony of the garden converge, water-flowing leaves, whispering earth breathing beneath. In the confluence of these sounds, thought dissolves into pure presence, and you rest as both listener and the very music you hear. And in that seamless stillness, the river of your own being flows untouched, ever onward, ever home. You lift your gaze to where sunlight filters through the treetops, painting shifting patterns of warmth upon the mossy floor. In this living mosaic, you encounter the teaching of imperfection's beauty, that every leaf blemish, every knot in the bark tells a story of endurance and grace. You recall the master who, when asked why he painted cracks into his ceramics, replied, "The fractures let the light in." In each flaw, you glimpse life's subtle radiance. Rising from the stone seat, you feel your own scars, moments of loss, moments of joy woven into the fabric of your being. With each inhalation, you draw appreciation for all that has shaped you. With each exhale, you release the urge to conceal or deny. You step forward, heart open into the glade's embrace, knowing that authenticity shines brighter than any veneer of perfection. Ahead, a narrow path leads to an ancient cedar whose trunk rings with the passage of centuries. You lay your hand upon its weathered bark, and in its silent strength, you discover the teaching of resilience that, bending to life's storms, preserves the core of who you are. Like the cedar you stand, roots deep branches reaching, bearing witness to every season without surrender to its fury. A gentle breeze stirs the grove, carrying with it the faint scent of cedar and earth. You close your eyes to absorb its message that you too can stretch toward the light after every trial, finding renewed growth in each cycle of change. With a quiet bow to the towering tree, you honor your own capacity to endure and to flourish. And as you walk back along the sun-dappled path, you carry these teachings within imperfection as illumination, resilience, as grace, authenticity, as the truest bloom of the heart, ready to unfold in every breath and every step that lies ahead. A gentle light filters through the foliage as you emerge from the cedar grove, guiding you toward a quiet clearing where the garden's stone lantern stands untouched by time. You approach and trace its weathered surface, feeling the cool contours beneath your fingertips. In its silent vigil, you discover the teaching of steadfast presence, that true guidance requires neither words nor motion, only the unwavering glow of intention. You recall the story of a lantern bearer who carried his flame through storm and sun, never faltering until he became known not for his journey, but for the light he carried within. In that simplicity, you recognize your own capacity to bear a steady glow. Compassion, mindfulness, kindness, regardless of shifting circumstances. A soft breeze stirs the lantern's petals, carved in stone, and you bow in gratitude to its quiet example. With each breath, you feel the warmth of your inner light deepen, illuminating the path ahead, even as shadows gather at day's edge. In this mutual exchange of teaching and learning, you rest in the steady flame of presence that neither wanes nor fades. As you step away, the lantern's glow lingers in your heart, a living reminder that wherever you tread, your inner light will guide both yourself and others through the unfolding dusk of life's moments. And with that steady flame carried gently within you, continue onward, ever present, ever luminous, in the boundless journey of now. A hush settles as twilight deepens, and you follow the lantern's echo through a grove of camellia bushes, heavy with budding flowers. Each blossom, poised to bloom, holds the promise of beauty unseen, teaching you the power of potential waiting patiently in stillness. You recall the story of a gardener who tended seeds never meant to sprout in his lifetime, trusting that one day they would flower for others to cherish. In that quiet faith, you sense your own intentions planted now, destined to awaken in their own season. You move on, guided by the soft glow of fireflies that drift like drifting stars among the blooms. Their fleeting light reminds you that even the smallest spark can illuminate profound darkness. With each footstep, you carry both patience for unfolding growth and the courage to shine where you are planted. Ahead, a gentle slope leads you to the edge of a quiet pond, its surface now reflecting the first night stars. You kneel at its bank fingertips, brushing the cool water, and feel the teaching of reflection. That understanding deepens when you meet yourself without distortion. In the still mirror of the pond, you see not only your own face, but the endless sky behind it, reminding you that your true self reflects and contains the whole universe. A soft breeze stirs the water, rippling reflection into dancing fragments, teaching you that identity, like images on water, is both luminous and impermanent. You inhale that insight, letting the ripples of thought spread and dissolve until only the calm depth remains beneath surface movement. Rising, you walk the last steps along a moss-laden path toward the hall's open doors, feeling both renewed and deeply at rest. In this quiet passage between garden and home, you carry every teaching you've gathered: steadfast presence, natural unfolding patient potential, and reflective clarity woven into the very fabric of your being. And as you cross the threshold beneath the moon's gentle gaze, you rest in the knowing that each step, each breath, each heartbeat is itself the endless journey of awakening. A gentle calm settles as you step into the hall's soft glow, the cool wood beneath your feet, a haven after the night's wandering. You pause at the threshold, bowing inward with gratitude for the journey that has guided you here through moonlit gardens, beneath ancient trees, across whispering streams, and along mossy paths of presence. Seated once more on your cushion, you feel the collected teachings settle into your bones: impermanence and rootedness, simplicity and richness, listening and offering patience and responsiveness. Each lesson a petal in the unfolding lotus of awareness that blooms within your heart. You close your eyes and bring your attention to the single breath that bridges night and day practice and life. Inhale, the vastness of the cosmos fills you. Exhale, the quiet depth of your own being radiates outward. In this mutual embrace, you recognize that the story of your steps through the garden is not separate from the story of your own awakening. They are one continuous path. No labels define this moment. No chapters mark its boundaries. There is only the seamless flow of awareness carrying you gently into the day's first light. And as your breath becomes the silent drumbeat of a world both within and without you, rest wholly in the ever-present, now ready to carry the lantern of mindful presence into every unfolding moment. A single ray of morning light slips through the shoji, touching the space before you with a gentle promise. You remain seated, heart still echoing the garden's silent teachings, and in this soft radiance, you meet the final invitation of the night's journey to carry its peace into every moment that follows. As you slowly rise, you feel the continuity of practice pulsing through your limbs, the steady drum of breath that has guided you from darkness into light. You walk to the alcove where a simple wooden stand holds a single vase with a lone blossom. Its fragile curve speaks of the night's lessons, that beauty emerges from stillness, that each unfolding petal mirrors your own awakening. You bow deeply to the blossom, offering gratitude for its quiet presence. In that bow, you honor the seamless unity of garden and hall, of night's mystery and day's clarity of your own journey from shadow into illumination. Turning toward the open doorway, you pause one last time, breath poised between inhale and exhale, holding the vast field of awareness that knows no separation between inner and outer, beginning and end, and then stepping forward into the full embrace of morning. You carry with you the lantern of presence, its steady flame guiding every breath, every step, every moment into the boundless unfolding of your day. In the hush between breath and movement, you pause at the threshold of the hall one last time before stepping into the day. The world awaits with its unfolding tasks and quiet wonders, yet you carry within you the stillness of moonlit gardens and the whisper of bamboo chimes. Each moment, rising sun, turning leaf, passing breeze, becomes an invitation to rest in awareness. With steady steps, you close the doors behind you, honoring the sacred space now held in memory rather than sight. You move forward not as one who leaves practice behind, but as one whose every gesture is practice made manifest. Hands that swept courtyards now shape words of kindness. Feet that cross stones now walk the paths of compassion. Eyes that witness blossoms now see the beauty in each face you meet. In your chest, the lantern of presence glows softly, neither waning nor flickering, but shining with the gentle consistency of mindful care. This light needs no fanfare or flame. It simply is bridging the silent night you traveled with the vibrant life that greets you. And as the day unfolds around you, remember that each breath you take is both an arrival and a departure, a timeless meeting point of inner and outer worlds. Carry this seamless flow into every action and every pause. In that living unity, you rest fully awake, alive, and at peace in the boundless now. A warm breeze greets you as you step beyond the hall's threshold, carrying with it the faint scent of jasmine and earth warmed by morning sun. Your footsteps fall lightly on the stone path, and in each echo, you sense the quiet beat of mindful presence flowing into the day's first tasks. Here, the teaching of sacred ordinariness reveals itself, that life's simplest moments, preparing tea, sweeping a path, greeting another soul, are vessels for awakening when embraced fully. You remember the tale of the young teacher who invited her students to carry a cup of water across the courtyard without spilling a single drop. Many hurried, anxious to finish, yet all stumbled. Then she walked slowly, each step guided by calm breath, until she reached the other side, with cup perfectly still. She smiled and said, "In haste, you lose the world. In presence, the world unfolds." You draw that lesson into your heart, feeling your own movements slow, measured each gesture, both simple and profound. Ahead, a low bench beneath a flowering cherry tree invites you to pause. You settle there, inhaling the blush of petals overhead, and allow the day's emerging light to warm your back. In this gentle stillness, you encounter the teaching of momentary grace that every meeting of breath and presence is a pearl strung on the thread of time. What if each breath you take today were honored as such a precious gift? A soft murmur of voices drifts from beyond the garden gate, a reminder that the world stirs with life's myriad offerings. You let the sounds drift through you without grasping like wind threading through trees. In that spacious listening compassion arises naturally for you. Realize that every being you encounter carries its own unseen story of joy and suffering. How might your presence become a balm in their unfolding moment? Rising, you cup your palms and drink in a glass of clear water set upon a neighboring stone. Each sip becomes a silent vow, purifying intention and aligning heart with action to approach every person, every task, every breath with unwavering care. You let the water's cool clarity wash over you, dissolving any lingering separation between ritual and routine. As you move forward down the path toward the world beyond, you carry within you the lantern of awareness, not a distant flame, but the very glow of your own compassionate, present-hearted being. In every step, every word, every offering of kindness, you become the living embodiment of practice, awakening the sacred in each ordinary moment, and guiding the way for yourself and others into the boundless unfolding of now. You follow the winding path beyond the garden gate, each footfall landing softly on gravel and earth as dawn's gentle light unfurls around you. In the distance, the murmur of village life stirs, a shopkeeper arranging bamboo baskets, a child's laughter floating on the breeze. Yet you remain present to each nuance, the faint scrape of sandal on stone, the warmth of sunlight pooling in a broken lantern's hollow. In this mindful attention, you meet the teaching of inspired engagement, that presence invites participation without distraction. You recall the story of a healer who tended both body and spirit by truly seeing each visitor not as patient or problem, but as fellow traveler on life's path. When asked why her remedies were so effective, she replied, "Because I first see the person, and in that seeing, healing begins." Now, as you walk among daily happenings, you offer the same gift of undivided notice, to see before you act, to honor before you speak. A gentle breeze carries the scent of fresh daikon and steamed rice from a street stall. You pause and bow to the vendor, accepting a simple bowl of congee with both hands. Each spoonful you taste becomes a meditation, the soft rice yielding beneath your tongue, the warmth spreading through your chest. the subtle seasoning grounding you in immediate gratitude. What wisdom might emerge if every meal were savored as sacred practice? Moving on, you pass beneath an arch of wisteria, blossoms their pale purple clusters, brushing your shoulders like whispered blessings. In their quiet flourish, you perceive the teaching of spontaneous beauty, that grace often appears unbidden, offering its gift without announcement. You let your heart receive this gift, fully acknowledging the fleeting marvels woven through ordinary life. As you continue down the sunlit street, lanterns swaying in gentle rhythm, wooden shutters sliding open to welcome the morning, you carry the lantern of awareness before you. Its steady glow, neither shout nor whisper, but a quiet beacon guiding you to meet each moment with intention, recognition, and the open heart of practice made living. A soft murmur of wind stirs the wisteria above as you walk on each step, a deliberate moment of joining with life's flow. You notice the vendor pausing her work to bow in return, an unspoken exchange of respect that ripples through the morning air. In that brief meeting, you feel the teaching of mutual honor. When you recognize another's presence fully, you awaken the best in both of you. Continuing down the lane, you pass a small shrine tucked beside a weathered wall. Candles flicker within their flames, steady against the breeze. You pause and cup your hands over one, feeling its warmth and offering a silent bow of gratitude for guidance unseen. In this gesture, you meet the teaching of inner light, that even amid bustling life, the quiet flame of awareness remains your constant companion. A child darts past, chasing a drifting paper lantern. Its gentle bob reminds you of the playful side of presence, the ease that arises when you meet each moment with openness and curiosity. You smile inwardly, recalling the teaching of beginner's mind that the world always offers fresh wonder when you look without assumption. Ahead, the path curves toward a low wooden bridge spanning a narrow canal. You approach and lean on its railing, watching koi weave through reeds beneath rippling water. Their graceful arcs echo the effortless dance of breath and being, teaching you once more that flow arises when you release resistance. Rising from the bridge, you continue your journey into the day heart. Alert mind, open lantern of awareness, glowing gently within. In every greeting, every footstep, every breath, you carry the seamless practice of presence into the world unfolding before you. You step off the bridge onto a stone-paved courtyard where elders gather beneath a blossoming plum tree, their hushed conversation weaving threads of history through the morning air. You pause at the edge of their circle, offering a respectful nod that carries warmth and recognition. In that simple exchange, you meet the teaching of communal presence, that each life contributes a unique note to the greater harmony of shared existence. A pot of tea steams at the foot of the tree, its fragrance curling into the air like an open invitation. You join the circle, accepting a cup with both hands and bowing in gratitude. Each sip is a meditation, the bitter edge tempered by warmth, the sweetness lingering behind the tongue. You feel the teaching of reciprocity deepen, offering courtesy and receiving companionship in return. Around you, Laughter drifts like petals on the breeze as a storyteller recounts an old folk tale of a fox and a crane, each learning from the other's way of life. You listen with rapt attention, recognizing that wisdom often arrives through story, that compassion blooms when you share in another's world. What lesson might you carry forward from this shared moment of laughter and learning? When the tea bowl is empty, you bow to the group and step away, heart lightened by connection. You follow a lantern-lit alley toward the marketplace, where the soft glow reveals stalls of fresh produce and handcrafted wares. With each glance, you honor the artisan's skill and the earth's abundance, practicing gratitude in every casual nod, every gentle smile. As you emerge into the bright expanse of the main street, you carry within you the living teachings of community exchange and storytelling, ready to embody them in every gesture, every greeting, every breath. For practice never ends. It simply flows seamlessly into the unfolding tapestry of life. A gentle warmth suffuses the air as you leave the marketplace behind and follow a lantern-lit lane toward a quiet shrine tucked between two oak trees. In the soft glow, you pause before a stone offering plate where coins clink lightly against moss. You cup a single coin in your hand and release it with mindful intention, each small act of giving a reflection of life's great generosity. You recall the story of a humble farmer who shared his meager harvest with travelers in need. Though he gave little, his kindness multiplied in the hearts of those he helped, returning to him in unexpected blessings. In this simple gesture, you sense the teaching of right giving, that when you offer from an open heart, abundance flows not only outward, but inward as well. What generosity might you share today that awakens both giver and receiver to the hidden riches of compassion? With that gentle question resting in your awareness, you continue onward, lantern of presence, guiding each step into the unfolding grace of this new day. You follow the lantern's glow through a narrow corridor lined with cedar planks, the scent of wood and earth weaving through each breath. Ahead, a small alcove holds a polished bell. Its surface reflects your quiet silhouette. You approach and lift the mallet, feeling its weight, a blend of intention and gentleness. In that poised moment, you meet the teaching of mindful initiation, that every action begins with inner resolve, perfectly balanced by softness. You strike the bell, once its note resonating through the corridor, like a single sustained bow. The sound lingers, then dissolves into silence, carrying with it the imprint of your touch. You recall the story of a master who before every teaching sounded his bell to gather wandering minds into stillness, reminding all that practice begins the moment you choose presence. What gathering of your own awareness does this single tone evoke? As the echo fades, you let the stillness settle into your bones and continue forward. The corridor opens onto a sun-drenched courtyard where a wooden gate stands half open. Beyond it, the world stretches into its myriad activities, yet you feel a quiet thread connecting here and now to every distant moment. In this unbroken thread lies the teaching of continuity, that the seed of practice sown in silence blooms in each breath throughout your day. Stepping through the gate, you carry the bell's echo within you, its tone anchoring presence in the rush of activity to come. And with each mindful breath, each gentle step, each open gesture, you weave the lantern of awareness through the tapestry of life, ever present, ever guiding in the boundless unfolding of now. A subtle light dances across the courtyard stones as you step beyond the gate, each movement threaded with the morning's gentle wakefulness. You breathe in the mingled scents of earth and incense carried from a distant altar, feeling the teaching of sacred scent, how fragrance can guide the mind from distraction back to presence. You recall the tale of a monk whose mindfulness hinged on the smell of a single blossom. Each time its perfume reached him, he returned his wandering thoughts home. What subtle fragrance anchors you now? Walking toward the village lane, you notice a weathered sign marking a communal bathhouse. Steam rises in soft columns, inviting you to cleanse both body and mind. You pause at its entrance and feel the teaching of purification that letting go of physical grime can mirror the release of mental residue. With deliberate steps, you enter the warm mist, each droplet pressing against your skin like whispered encouragement. You close your eyes and let the heat draw tension from your shoulders, your jaw, the space behind your eyes, washing away yesterday's weight. Stepping out, you wrap yourself in a simple cloth and bow to the bath's wooden beams, gratitude blooming in your chest. Outside, children tread past with damp hair and laughter, reminding you of the teaching of joy in renewal, that fresh beginnings often arise in the simplest pleasures. You offer them a soft smile, and in their carefree response, you sense how kindness flows back as brightness to your own heart. Continuing on, you follow the lane past low houses, where morning chores begin: rice, steaming wood being gathered, lanterns being lit. Each sight and sound becomes a bell of awareness, an opportunity to practice presence in small acts. With every step, every breath, every smile you share, you weave the lantern of mindful presence into the tapestry of life, carrying forward the quiet wisdom of night's shelter into the vibrant embrace of the day unfolding. The dusty lane opens onto a small plaza where a single stone pedestal supports a clay bowl of fresh spring water. You pause and lift your hand to cup the cool liquid, letting it trickle through your fingers before tasting a drop upon your tongue. Pure clarity in simplicity. In that instant, you meet the teaching of essentialness. What is needed is already here, waiting to be acknowledged. You bow gratefully to the wellspring that nourishes both body and spirit. Ahead, the clatter of wooden clogs on cobblestone guides you toward a workshop where artisans shape clay into vessels. You watch as a potter's wheel spins a dance of form, emerging from formlessness. His hands move with serene confidence, neither forcing the clay nor yielding entirely to chance. Here lies the teaching of balanced effort, steady guidance paired with gentle allowance, giving shape while honoring the inherent nature of things. A youthful apprentice approaches, offering you a fresh cup of tea made in one of these handcrafted bowls. You accept it with both hands, feeling the warmth seep into your palms. Each sip becomes a lesson in unity. The bowl, the tea, the hands, and the heart all converge in a single seamless moment. You smile inwardly, recognizing that every crafted form carries both maker and clay intention and possibility entwined. Leaving the workshop, you find yourself drawn to a secluded alcove where ivy-clad stones cradle a forgotten statue of a bodhisattva. Time and weather have softened its features, yet compassion still radiates from its silent gaze. You kneel before the figure, closing your eyes and letting its gentle presence wash over you. In that sacred space, you encounter the teaching of timeless care, even when forgotten kindness endures a seed waiting for new soil to bloom again. As you rise, a soft breeze stirs the ivy leaves overhead, showering the statue and yourself in a carpet of pale green. You step forward each footfall, reverent, carrying the quiet offerings of spring life at your back. With every breath, you nourish these teachings: essentialness, balanced effort, unity, timeless care, planting them within your own heart so they may guide your steps beyond this place. And so, you continue, lantern of awareness, held steady before you, ready to bring the gentle wisdom of each moment into the day's unfolding tapestry, a presence both humble and luminous, ever flowing in the boundless now. You follow the sun-dappled lane until it opens onto a sunlit courtyard where a single yew tree stands its evergreen needles, whispering resilience in every breeze. You pause beneath its boughs, feeling the teaching of steady presence, that in the face of change, some truths remain constant. You recall the tale of a monk who, when storms threatened the temple, sat unmoved beneath a pine, knowing that inner refuge need not falter amid outer upheaval. What steadiness might you cultivate today so that your heart remains calm, even when the world shifts? From the tree's shade, you notice a low stone bench beside a patch of wild chrysanthemums. You sit and reach out to touch their delicate petals, each one a testament to quiet beauty born in humble soil. This is the teaching of gratitude for simplicity, that splendor need not be grand to inspire awe. You breathe in their subtle fragrance, asking yourself what small wonders you can cherish in the ordinary moments ahead. As you rise, a gentle hush falls, and you hear the distant murmur of a temple bell, an echo of all the steps that brought you here. You lift your face to the sky, welcoming its clear light, and feel the teaching of open-heartedness, that every experience, every sight and sound offers a doorway to compassion when met without judgment. A soft question drifts to you. In what ways can you open your heart today, offering kindness as freely as the wind scatters fallen leaves? With that intention kindled, you step back onto the path lantern of awareness glowing quietly within. Each footfall carries these teachings forward: steady presence, simple gratitude, open-hearted compassion, ready to breathe them into every moment of the unfolding day. You follow the path as it winds away from the yew tree into a grove of silver birch, their pale trunks glowing softly in the morning light. Each footfall among the fallen leaves teaches you the impermanence of all things. The shining gold and copper underfoot will soon fade and nourish tomorrow's green. You recall the story of a traveler who collected autumn leaves, stringing them into garlands until winter's frost scattered them to the wind. Yet each time new blossoms appeared, he remembered the beauty of what had passed. How might you honor the gifts of each moment, even as they slip through your fingers? Beneath the birch canopy, a small pool reflects the sky, its surface disturbed only by the occasional ripple of a drifting leaf. You lean forward, watching the disturbance spread outward, softening into stillness once more. In that simple spectacle lies the teaching of return. No matter how thoughts agitate the mind's surface, they settle back into clarity when left undisturbed. You close your eyes and feel that tranquil center within you, inhaling its calm and exhaling the last traces of restlessness. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying the faint hum of distant chanting from the temple's hall. You lift your head, drawing the chant into your awareness, without grasping, allowing its resonance to blend with your own breath. In that union, you discover the teaching of harmony. When inner and outer voices merge, there is neither jarring nor division, only a seamless song of being. What melody arises when you listen without judgment to the world's quiet chorus? Rising from the pool's edge, you continue onward, each step, both journey and destination, carrying the lantern of mindful presence forward into the unfolding tapestry of your day. You rise from the pool's edge and follow a narrow stone stairway that climbs gently between moss-clad rocks and whispering ferns. Each step becomes a meditation in itself, lifting your foot, placing it steadily, feeling the earth's support beneath you. In this ascent, you touch the teaching of effort matched with ease. Progress arises when intention guides movement without forcing it. Halfway up, you pause at a ledge where a single stone lantern stands, its carved petals cradling the morning light. You remember the story of a pilgrim who carried his lantern through dark valleys only to discover that its glow deepened each time he offered it to weary travelers. In that sharing, the light within him burned brighter still. What flame might you share in the moments ahead? You continue upward until the stairway opens onto a gentle slope, dotted with wild grasses swaying in the breeze. Here you sense the teaching of adaptability, like grass that yields yet stands. Again, you too can bend with life's currents without breaking. You lean into the wind's caress, letting it teach you the art of yielding as strength. At the crest of the slope, you find a broad vista, revealing temple rooftops nestled among morning mist. You stand quietly breathing in the vast scene, the sweeping hills, the curling tendrils of fog, the glimmer of the water below. In this panorama, you discover the teaching of perspective. When you step back, the details align into a harmonious whole, and you see your life as part of the grand unfolding. Closing your eyes, you invite this question into the stillness. How might you hold both the smallest detail and the widest view in a single breath? You open your heart to the answer, without grasping, allowing insight to arise in its own time. And with that soft knowing, you continue down the path, each footfall a prayer, each breath a vow to carry this balanced presence into every waking moment. A soft mist drifts across the terrace as you descend from the hilltop, the world's contours softened by the morning haze. You feel the teaching of gentle transition, that each phase of experience flows into the next without abrupt edges. Steps that once climbed now guide you downward with equal grace, reminding you that rise and fall are two sides of the same unbroken circle. Below the path leads you to a simple wooden pavilion suspended over a quiet pool. You step inside and sit upon the edge legs, dangling above water, so still it becomes a perfect mirror. In that reflection, you see both the pavilion's beams and your own calm face teaching you that seeing and being are inseparable, that awareness and perceived world arise together as one phenomenon. What clarity emerges when you recognize yourself in the world's stillness. From the pavilion's rafters hangs a single wind bell, its metal petals catching the breeze to produce a soft, resonant chime. You reach up and let it sway gently by hand, feeling its cool weight and hearing its pure tone fill the space. A Zen master once compared the mind to that bell, free to ring in response to the world's breath, yet always returning to silence when left untethered. You watch the chime's note fade into quiet, resting in the openness that remains. At the pool's edge, lotus blossoms unfold their petals in slow choreography, each bloom a testament to emergence from murky depths into luminous beauty. You inhale their subtle fragrance and sense the teaching of emergence, that transformation often arises from hidden places unseen until the moment of full bloom. You bow to the lotus and to your own potential for quiet unfolding in the unseen currents of mind. Rising from the pavilion, you tread the mossy stones back toward the courtyard, feeling each soft cushion of green beneath your feet. In every footfall, you carry the lantern of awareness, a steady glow that needs neither sun nor moon to shine. And as you re-enter the hall's warm embrace, you rest once more in the seamless unity of heart, mind, and world awake whole, and at peace in the boundless now. You pause in the hall's gentle glow, letting the warmth of wood and sunlight meld with the calm you carry within. You walk to the low shelf, where a single unlit candle waits its wick untouched by flame, yet brimming with potential. In this moment, you meet the teaching of seed and blossom. Every spark of intention holds the promise of awakening, even before it is kindled. You strike a match and touch its light to the candle's wick. As the flame takes hold, you feel the teaching of cause and effect. A small act gives rise to radiant warmth, teaching you that even the tiniest choice can illumine the darkest corner of the mind. You inhale the faint scent of melting wax and let it guide your attention inward, feeling how a single flicker can steady the swirl of thoughts. Seated once more on your cushion, you let your gaze rest on the dancing flame. You recall the tale of a traveler who carried an unlit lantern across a rain-soaked plain. Only when he finally found shelter did he light it, and in that moment realized he had carried the light all along, unacknowledged but unwavering. What inner flame have you been carrying that awaits your gentle recognition? With each breath, you sense the unity of flame and mind, both rising, both subsiding, both radiant in their stillness. You close your eyes, bringing awareness to the meeting point of inhale and exhale, just as the flame meets candle. In that silent juncture, what truth arises when you rest without striving? Behind your closed lids, You imagine a lotus unfolding petal by petal, each one reflecting the candle's glow, until the whole flower becomes a lantern itself. You invite yourself to rest in that image, embracing the possibility of becoming light from within each petal, a step toward full awakening. As the flame steadies, you feel the halls hush, deepen around you, and you rest in the boundless space between thought and silence, breath and flame seed and blossom, carrying this luminous presence into whatever moments lie ahead. A gentle hush settles as the candle's glow melds with the morning light, and you sense the teaching of ever-present possibility that each moment offers a chance to kindle insight. You rise slowly, leaving the candle to burn its steady arc and carry its warmth like a talisman in your heart. Stepping into the courtyard once more, you feel the earth's cool firmness beneath your feet and the sun's soft promise upon your face. Ahead, a simple bench beneath a flowering plum invites you to rest. You sit and bow to the blossoms above their petals, poised between bud and bloom, each one a living koan of threshold and transformation. In their silent vigil, you discover the teaching of poised becoming, that growth unfolds in the space between stillness and movement, neither rushed nor delayed. You close your eyes and feel your own spirit hovering in that luminous limbo, no longer tethered to yesterday's shadows, nor chasing tomorrow's light, but resting exactly at the cusp of here and now. What blossoms might arise when you hold yourself in that tender, expectant stillness? With a soft inhalation, you welcome possibility in every cell. With a gentle exhale, you release any story that would bind you to limitation. In this poised embrace of what is yet to come, you rest as both seed and sprout, ready to unfold when the moment is ripe. And as you rise to continue your day, heart alight with the candle's echo mind, buoyed by the plum's promise, you carry this teaching forward, that every threshold is a gateway, and every pause a portal to deeper awakening. You step forward into the morning's gentle hush, each footfall soft upon the courtyard stones. Ahead, the path narrows between weathered pillars inscribed with ancient calligraphy. You pause to trace the characters, with your gaze each stroke a testament to the devotion of hands long gone. In their silent presence, you meet the teaching of legacy, that every act of mindful attention, however small, writes its own mark upon the unfolding story of the world. You bow low before the pillar's gratitude swelling in your chest for those who came before and laid this path of practice. Rising, you feel their quiet encouragement guiding your steps. You continue onward, heart-steady lantern of awareness, glowing within each breath and movement, weaving the unbroken thread of presence through the tapestry of each new moment. You step beyond the ancient pillars into a corridor of moss-clad stones, each one telling the quiet story of innumerable footsteps before yours. The cool air indoors meets the warmth of daylight, reminding you of the teaching of harmony between opposites, light and shadow, silence and form, inner and outer. You recall the story of a teacher who, having climbed a mountain in search of wisdom, discovered at the summit that every view, no matter how lofty, was mirrored in the stillness of a single pond at its base. True insight, he realized, arises equally in heights and depths. You continue down the corridor, your fingertips grazing the rough stone walls as you let this realization settle in your bones. What heights and depths might you hold together in your own life without losing the balance of equanimity? You let the question rest gently in your awareness, neither forcing an answer nor abandoning curiosity. Ahead, a low window frames a single bamboo shoot stretching toward the sky. In its slender, determined growth, you perceive the teaching of aligned purpose. Even the smallest intention, when directed with persistence, reaches toward its fullest expression. You lean in to observe the bamboo's elegant simplicity, feeling inspiration bloom in your chest for every genuine aspiration that calls to you. In this seamless melding of corridor and sky of stone and shoot, you rest as both observer and the very scene unfolding. Your breath carries the whisper of the pillars behind and the rustle of bamboo ahead, weaving them into one continuous thread of presence. And you step forward, heart steady, mind open, into the next moment of awakening lantern of awareness, glowing softly within. A gentle breeze follows you as you step out of the corridor into a courtyard veiled in mist, each droplet shimmering like a prism in the early light. You feel the teaching of clarity through obscurity. Even when vision is blurred, the essence remains luminous. You recall the story of a novice who, lost in a mountain fog, paused and listened only to discover the hidden melody of a distant waterfall guiding him home. What subtle guide might you trust today? When the path seems unclear, you walk toward a shallow lotus pond, its blooms unfolding like pale lanterns upon the water's surface. Kneeling at the edge, you let your fingertips skim the cool water and notice the concentric ripples spreading outward, each action touching realms beyond sight. In that simple gesture, you meet the teaching of ripple effect. Every kindness you extend radiates far beyond its origin. What small gesture of care can you send into the world now? Rising, you step along the pond's perimeter, inhaling the lotus's soft fragrance and exhaling doubt's final threads. As the mist lifts, you glimpse your reflection beside the twin petals, one real, one mirrored, reminding you of the teaching of twofold presence to both see yourself clearly and recognize the world as your reflection. In that mirror's invitation, you bow to your own unfolding, honoring both who you are and who you are becoming. And as you continue down the stone path toward the day's gentle unfolding, you carry this teaching within clarity, in uncertainty, the power of small ripples and the unity of self and world. Each breath, a deliberate return to the boundless now. The first rays of dawn touch the horizon as you stand at the threshold of the hall, heart softened by the night's journey and mind clear as the morning sky. You let the gentle light wash over every part of you, your breath, your bones, your quiet resolve to carry this presence forward. In this final stillness, before the bustle of day reclaims you, you notice how each lesson from moonlit gardens, whispering bamboo, and echoing bells has woven itself into the fabric of your being. Each breath has become both anchor and sail, grounding you in the richness of now, even as it carries you toward new moments. You feel the luminous echo of the lantern's flame in your chest, the steady warmth of compassion and awareness burning without smoke or wax. You sense the endurance of the cedar, the pliancy of the willow, the unfolding of the lotus, and the resilience of the bamboo, all mirrored within your own heart. In this sacred pause, you realize that practice is not confined to rituals or quiet spaces, but lives in every gesture, each cup of tea, each word spoken with care, each kindness offered without expectation. As the world beyond these doors stirs to life, the laughter of children, the hum of conversations, the distant toll of temple bells you carry within you, the hush that transcends sound, the light that outshines darkness, the still point at the center of all motion. There is no starting point or end, only the endless river of presence flowing through every moment. In this final gift to yourself, you breathe deeply, acknowledging both the journey lived and the path yet unfolding. And as you step beyond the hall, you bring this unified awareness into the vibrant tapestry of day, knowing that every step, every breath, every heartbeat, no matter where you find yourself, can be a return home. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself.